Republican Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana has suffered a setback in his recovery from gunshot wounds. The majority whip was one of 5 people hurt when a gunman opened fire last month at a congressional baseball practice. He had another round of surgery today, and he's back in intensive care. CBS News chief medical correspondent Jon LaPook is here. John, back in intensive care with an infection. We know you're not his physician, but what does this mean?
JB, we don't have a lot of information, but causes of infection in a hospital include pneumonia, infection of the bladder, urinary tract infection, and you have all these catheters in you and tubes, they can get infected. But we heard that he had surgery. Now, they didn't even say where in the body you had surgery, but you have to wonder about this. The bullet came in through the pelvis, it shattered it, there were hundreds of fragments of bone and of bullet, and they acted like shrapnel. Now, there are very important organs here and structures. One of them is the colon. Now, when the colon gets injured, bacteria can leak out. There are trillions of bacteria there, and they can cause a little pocket called an abscess. That's where there's a lot of bacteria, it's growing up, and it can be very hard for the antibiotics to reach it. So sometimes you need to go and put a drain. If you can't do that through interventional radiology, then sometimes you have to go in and do surgery.
So, Doc, the good news recently was that he was moved out of intensive care, signaling he was making progress, but he's back there now in intensive care. What does that say to you as a doctor? Well,
they probably picked up some evidence of infection. What would that be? A fever, an elevated white count, or a change in his vital signs. Something said to them, there's maybe an infection here. They were worried about that all along. You know what? Let's move him back to a part of the hospital where we can really keep a close eye on him, and if something happens, we can move quickly. So it's a smart move when you're not sure exactly what's going on, and that certainly seems to be the case here. There are so many different possibilities. Move him back to the safest part of the hospital.
Dr. Jon LaPook, thank you so much.